Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are popping the hood on a massive update in tech education, Google's totally reimagined machine learning crash course. We're going to unpack exactly how modern AI is being taught right now by the very engineers who are building it. It's a really fascinating look at how foundational knowledge has had to adapt in an era of just rapid, nonstop change. So let's get right into it. And when we say massive, we are talking millions. That's the sheer scale and authority of this curriculum. Since its original drop back in 2018, millions of people all over the globe have relied on this exact course to learn the nuts and bolts of how machine learning works. It didn't just sit on some forgotten server, right? It literally shaped how a whole generation of developers approached artificial intelligence. But that brings us to the really big question driving this explainer. How do you learn the most powerful technology of our time? Think about it. The AI landscape has completely transformed over the last few years. What worked a half-decade ago, it simply doesn't cover the mind-blowing breakthroughs we're seeing today. So a curriculum upgrade wasn't just a nice-to-have, it was absolutely 100% necessary to keep up with that blistering pace of innovation. Okay, let's dive into this with Section 1, the AI Learning Legacy. The cool thing here is that this new course builds directly on a deeply trusted legacy. They didn't just scrap everything and start from scratch. Which brings us to Section 2, Mastering Core Fundamentals. The reimagined course very smartly keeps the bedrock principles that made the 2018 version an absolute industry standard. Because, look, any serious AI education still has to start with those building blocks. We're talking about fundamental ML principles here: linear regression, logistic regression, classification, embeddings, overfitting, and of course, neural networks. To give you a quick refresher, think of linear regression as drawing that best fit line through a messy scatter graph to predict trends. Or neural networks, which are essentially algorithms mimicking the human brain to solve way more complex puzzles. You simply cannot build a modern AI system without a deep, intuitive understanding of these exact concepts. They are the bedrock of the whole system. So, moving right along to Section 3, Next Generation AI Modules. This is where things get really exciting, especially when you think about how much the tech has evolved since that original launch. The course basically acts as a bridge. On one side, you have those essential legacy fundamentals, like the neural networks we just talked about. And on the other side, the brand new modules focusing on recent advances, like large language models, LLMs, and automated machine learning, or AutoML. It connects the dots perfectly. It shows you exactly how these massive new language models, the ones powering the chatbots we use every single day, rely directly on those older foundational rules. But to make any of this actually work, there's a powerful truth emphasized throughout the material. Quote, "Data is the lifeblood of machine learning." End quote. It's such a simple sentence, but wow, it carries weight. Without quality data, even the most advanced LLM is pretty much useless, right? It's the core of the entire process. And when you realize that modern models are consuming petabytes of text data, that's essentially entire libraries of human knowledge. You start to see why data collection is so incredibly important. In fact, because data is that critical, the developers went ahead and built 3 entirely new modules dedicated solely to understanding and utilizing data. 3 modules? That tells you exactly where the priorities are in modern machine learning. You absolutely have to know how to handle the lifeblood of the system, gathering it, cleaning it, structuring it, if you want to build anything remotely useful. Now, shifting gears a bit to Section 4, Building Responsible AI. This is where we get into the why this matters aspect, which is the absolute necessity of using AI responsibly and fairly. To really grasp this, we need to unpack societal bias. By definition, this refers to harmful real-world prejudices and inequities that AI systems can inadvertently inherit. So imagine a resume screening AI trained on historical hiring data that just happened to favor one specific demographic. Without the right training, the AI will accidentally adopt and rapidly scale up that exact human prejudice. It doesn't know any better. It just learns from what we feed it. It's kind of like a kid picking up bad habits. If the data's flawed, the AI's decisions are going to be flawed. So the directive they give is crystal clear: identify and fix inequities. The course doesn't just point out the problem and say, good luck. It actually provides different lenses to view these really complex fairness issues. It actively empowers you, the learner, to identify and fix these biases in your own systems. It's taking the conversation from just, hey, AI can be flawed, to actively engineering fairer outcomes from the ground up. All right, Section 5, Interactive Hands-on Learning. This is where the course really evolved, based directly on student feedback, asking for a much more interactive experience. You're not just staring at a wall of text anymore. There are so many dynamic ways to learn now. You can play around with these highly interactive educational widgets to see real-time reactions when you tweak variables. Or if you want to really get your hands dirty, you can jump straight into Python Colab programming using the Keras API, which is a super popular interface that makes building neural networks a lot more approachable. Plus, there are dozens of multiple choice exercises. Whether you're a visual learner sliding dials around or a coder ready to write the script, the whole shebang is built for immediate, hands-on application. So, we've unpacked the massive legacy, the core fundamentals, the cutting-edge modules, the crucial role of data, and the absolute necessity of building responsible AI. Which leaves me with one final question for you. What AI problem do you want to solve first? These tools have been completely reimagined for today's world. They're more accessible than ever, and they are just waiting for you to use them. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and keep learning.